Good morning, everyone, and here we are back in our meditative thought, meditative walk. Here we are concentrating on understanding the scriptures from today's readings. It's Bishop of Antioch, it's the 17th of October, and we're trying to decipher what Jesus is saying here. What we know he is saying is that we must remain faithful, we must continue to follow him. If we do, we get the rewards. And the beautiful words of a grain of wheat that falls, but if it falls, it just remains a single grain. But if it dies, that wheat, which is naturally symbolic of you and I, if it dies, it can potentially grow a harvest, a rich harvest. And from another parable passage, 30 or even 60 or 90 fold. And we can see that around us. What are the elements? What can we take away from that? Insofar as, one, it's going to take time. Wheat grows in time. And you and I, in our lives, it's going to take time. Secondly, we need to water it, don't we? A grain of wheat needs to be watered. And so we need to turn to the sacraments that help us. The sacraments of growth, the sacraments of course starting at baptism. We need to turn them to nourish us. So it's being patient with ourselves, growing in virtue, turning to the sacraments, and then that harvest, that rich harvest, dying to ourselves, and the rich harvest can be found, can be won. And it's very important to continue to follow that path. There was another thought there that I had, and if I was at a desk, I'd write it down. So we've got that grain of wheat, and it's dying, and it's being watered, and it's working. And the grain of wheat gets to enjoy being eaten, doesn't it? It becomes part of bread or pasta or some particular thing that someone gets to enjoy. So there's a happiness as an end result of that grain of wheat. And of course, we too can enjoy that profit, that happiness. So tying in the life of a grain of wheat with our lives, the similarities, and understanding Jesus using the everyday teachings that he finds around him, and we too can draw on that as well. What a beautiful teaching. Help us, Lord, to die to ourselves. We cannot do it by ourselves. And that was the thought. The grain of wheat must be in fertile ground. It must be also assisted by the men and women around it, the other grains of wheat. It's unusual to think that a grain of wheat by itself could survive in different environments. So that's also important. Let us pray that we may continue to die to ourselves each day, and always come back to this all, A-double-L. We give God all. Morning offering of Jesus through the Immaculate Heart of Mary, offering my prayers, works, joys and sufferings on this day for the intention of your Sacred Heart. And we must give all, 24/7. That's certainly a challenge for me. It's very easy to say I follow Jesus 1 hour a week, go to Sunday Mass, but it must impact my life on everything, and it's useless in some ways if I don't let Jesus to follow all. My thoughts follow Jesus. What I view, follow Jesus. What I say, follow Jesus. Like, what do we do at the beginning of the Gospel? Why do we make a little sign of the cross on our skull, our lips, our mouth, and our hearts? May the words of the gospel be in my mind, on my lips, and in my heart. That's what we do. So let us today reaffirm that we want to give all to Jesus, praying to be saints. May the Lord bless you. Amen.